You work hard every day. You show up on time. You do your tasks carefully. You never complain. But when there is a new opportunity, your name is not mentioned. When there is a promotion, someone else gets it. In meetings, your ideas are quickly passed over. When the team succeeds, other people get the credit. After some time, you start to ask yourself a painful question. Do you really matter at all? Maybe you are not good enough. Maybe you are not the kind of person people notice. This feeling grows slowly inside you. At first, you ignore it. But as weeks turn into months, and months turn into years, the question becomes louder. You feel invisible. Welcome back to Fluent English with Radio. Today, we are going to talk about why you should never lose hope when you feel invisible. Let me make something very clear. The fact that you have not been seen yet does not mean you have no value. The fact that you have not been recognized does not mean you are not skilled. These two things are not the same. The real problem is not that you are weak. The real problem is that you are building something that other people have not yet seen the final result of. You are in the middle of a process, and most people only notice the end. Here is a truth that will change the way you see your situation. Visibility comes after real value, not before. This means that being noticed is not the first step. It is the last step. First, you build something real. Then, people see it. Most people think it works the other way around. But that is backwards. You are not being forgotten. You are simply at a stage where the work you are doing has not yet become visible to others. And that is okay. That is part of the process. Do not spend your energy trying to be recognized too early. Value always forms in silence. Recognition is only the result. If you give up now, you will stop right before the moment when things could change. In this video, you will learn why people who work in silence often lose hope. You will understand why being invisible is a phase, not a final judgment. And you will discover 5 standards that will help you move from being someone no one notices to someone no one can ignore. Let us begin. 1. Why silent workers lose hope. Working quietly is not a mistake. Many people are taught to keep their heads down, do good work, and let their results speak for themselves. This advice sounds wise, and in some ways, it is. But there is a hidden danger in this approach. If you only work silently and never receive any feedback, your brain begins to create its own story. It starts to interpret the silence around you as a message, and that message is often wrong. Your brain begins to think that maybe you are not important. Maybe you are not good enough. Maybe no one cares about what you do. This is not just a small problem. It is a serious psychological mechanism that affects many people. The human brain needs something called a feedback loop. A feedback loop is a cycle that works like this. You put in effort. You receive a response. That response gives you motivation to continue. This cycle keeps you going. It tells you that your actions matter. It shows you that you are moving forward. Without this loop, the brain starts to lose its sense of direction. But when you work in silence, this loop is broken. You put in effort, but there is no response. You work hard, but nothing comes back to you. You finish a task, but no one comments on it. You solve a problem, but no one acknowledges it. Over time, your brain stops seeing the connection between your effort and any result. The brain is designed to look for patterns. When it cannot find a pattern between what you do and what happens next, it begins to shut down the motivation system. When this happens, hope does not die because you failed at something. Hope dies because you begin to feel that everything you do is meaningless. You start to believe that no matter how much you try, nothing will change. This feeling is called learned helplessness, and it is one of the most dangerous states of mind for anyone who wants to grow. Learned helplessness was first discovered in psychology experiments where animals were put in situations where nothing they did made any difference to their outcome. After a while, even when they were given a way to escape, they did not try. They had learned that their actions did not matter. The same thing happens to people. You do not wake up one day and suddenly give up. Instead, you slowly lose energy. You start working slower. You stop volunteering for new tasks. You stop sharing your ideas in meetings. You stop believing that doing good work will lead to being recognized. And this is the moment when many of the most talented people begin to fall behind. The consequence is not that you quit your job completely. Most people do not do that. Instead, you stay in the same place, but you stop pushing forward. You stay in the same role year after year. You stop taking risks. You stop trying to improve. You become someone who just goes through the motions. You do what is required, but nothing more. And the worst part is that you start to accept this as your reality. You start to think that this is just how life is for you. You think that some people are meant to be seen and some people are meant to stay in the background. But that is not true. If you feel this way right now, stop asking yourself, why does no one see me? That question leads nowhere. It makes you feel powerless. It makes you feel like a victim. It puts the responsibility on others to notice you, and you cannot control what other people do. A better question is this: what am I building that can be easily overlooked? This question shifts your focus. It makes you think about your work, your skills, and your impact. It helps you see that maybe the problem is not that you are invisible, but that what you are doing has not yet become something people cannot ignore. Hope dies when effort feels invisible. But hope can return when you understand that invisibility is not permanent. It is just a phase, and every phase can be changed. 2. Invisible is a phase, not a verdict. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that being invisible means being worthless. These two things are completely different, but many people treat them as the same. If you feel invisible right now, it does not mean you have no value. It means you are in a stage where your value has not yet been expressed in a way that others can see. This is a very important distinction. Let me explain how value and visibility work. In every field, in every job, in every skill, value is always created first. Visibility always comes second. Think about a tree. For many months, the tree grows its roots deep underground. No one sees this happening. If you walk past the tree every day, it looks like nothing is changing. But underground, something very important is happening. The roots are spreading. They are getting stronger. They are reaching deeper into the soil. They are preparing the tree to grow tall. Only after the roots are strong enough does the tree begin to grow upward where everyone can see it. The same thing happens with people. When you are building your skills and gaining experience, you are growing your roots. This is the invisible phase. No one can see what you are learning. No one can see the mistakes you are making and correcting. No one can see the hours you spend reading, practicing, and improving. This phase can feel frustrating because there is nothing to show for it. But without this phase, nothing that comes after is possible. The strongest trees are the ones with the deepest roots. The most successful people are the ones who spent the most time building their foundation. Society only notices certain things. It notices results. It notices impact. It notices clear differences. Society does not notice the process. It does not see the hours you spend learning. It does not see the mistakes you make in private. It does not see the foundation you are building. This is why so many people feel invisible even though they are working very hard. They are building the roots, but no one is looking underground. If no one is paying attention to you yet, it is very likely because of one of these reasons. Maybe your skills are not focused enough yet. Maybe the standard you are aiming for is not clear. Maybe you are spreading your energy across too many things instead of becoming excellent at one thing. But it is almost never because you have nothing to offer. The problem is not your worth. The problem is your positioning. Now, here is what happens when you misunderstand this phase. If you think being invisible means you are not good enough, you will make bad decisions. You will give up too soon. You will look at how long you have been working without being noticed, and you will think that this means you should stop. You will change direction constantly, always looking for something that gives you faster results. You will try one thing for a few months, see no recognition, and then switch to something else. You will lower your standards just to get noticed quickly. And all of these actions will actually keep you invisible for longer. Why? Because you will never stay in one place long enough to build something strong. You will never go deep enough to create real value. You will always be starting over, and starting over keeps you at the beginning. The people who break out of invisibility understand that this phase is temporary. They know that if they keep building with focus and discipline, eventually their work will become impossible to ignore. They do not panic when no one notices them in the first year. They do not give up when no one recognizes them in the second year. They understand that they are building something that takes time. They are patient. They are focused. They trust the process. They ask themselves a different question. If I keep building this for the next 12 to 24 months, will it become something that no one can overlook? If the answer is yes, they keep going. They stay committed. They keep learning. They keep improving. If the answer is no, they adjust. They change something about their approach. But they do not quit. They do not lose hope. They understand that invisibility is temporary, while weak standards make it permanent. 3. 5 standards to go from invisible to impossible to ignore. Standard 1. You stop expecting recognition too early. Let us now talk about the first standard that separates people who stay invisible from people who eventually get noticed. This standard is about timing. Most people expect recognition far too early, and when it does not come, they lose hope. But the truth is, recognition does not come during the learning phase. It comes during the impact phase. When you are still learning, you are focused on developing your skills. You are making mistakes. You are figuring out how things work. You are building your foundation. You are reading books, taking courses, watching videos, and practicing new skills. During this time, your value is potential, not proven. Other people do not see you as someone who can solve their problems yet. They see you as someone who is still growing. And that is okay. That is normal. That is how everyone starts. But many people do not accept this. They want to be recognized while they are still learning, and when it does not happen, they feel discouraged. They think they should be promoted just because they are working hard. They think they should be given opportunities just because they are trying. They think they deserve recognition just because they show up every day. But recognition does not work like that. Recognition comes when you create value for others, not when you are building value for yourself. Here is the mechanism you need to understand. The human brain only pays attention to things that are useful. This is not personal. This is not mean. This is just how the brain works. The brain has limited attention. It cannot notice everything, so it focuses on the things that matter most. People notice you when they need you. They notice you when you solve a problem they care about. They notice you when you make their life easier, better, or more successful. If you are not doing any of these things yet, you are simply not on their radar. Think about your own life. You do not notice every person you walk past on the street. You do not remember every conversation you hear. Your brain filters out most things and only focuses on what is relevant to you. The same thing happens when other people think about you. If your work does not affect them directly, they do not think about you. The consequence of expecting recognition too early is that you set yourself up for disappointment. You work hard, but no one says anything. You finish a project, but no one praises you. You improve your skills, but no one notices. And after this happens a few times, you start to lose hope. You think that no matter what you do, it will never be enough. But the real problem is not that you are not good enough. The real problem is that you are measuring success at the wrong time. So here is the micro action you need to take. Every time you feel invisible, ask yourself this question. Does the work I am doing right now help someone? Does it solve a real problem? If the answer is no, then you should not expect recognition yet. You are still in the preparation phase. This is not a bad thing. This is just reality. Use this time to build your skills. Use this time to learn. Use this time to make mistakes in private so you do not make them in public later. But if the answer is yes, if your work is helping someone or solving a problem, then you need to make sure people know what you are doing. You need to make your impact visible. Here is the rap line for this standard. If no one needs you yet, they will not see you. Recognition follows usefulness. Focus on becoming useful first, and recognition will follow naturally. Standard 2. You build something people actually need. The second standard is about focus. Many people stay invisible because they are good at many things, but not excellent at one thing. They work hard, but their work is general. It is not specific. It is not unique. And because of this, they are easy to overlook. Being generally good at your job is not enough. Many people are generally good. Many people show up on time and complete their tasks. But these people remain in the background because there is nothing specific that makes them stand out. On the other hand, people who become known for solving one important problem are very hard to replace. They are the person you call when you have a specific need. Here is the mechanism behind this. People do not remember someone who works hard. They remember someone who solves problems. Think about the people in your workplace who get recognized the most. They are usually not the people who do the most tasks. They might not be the busiest people. They are the people who handle the tasks that others cannot handle. They are the people who step in when something is broken and fix it. They are the people who take responsibility for the outcomes that matter most to the organization. The consequence of being generally skilled is that you will always stay in the background. You will always be the support person. You will help others succeed, but your name will not be mentioned. You will contribute to projects, but you will not be remembered. You will do good work, but you will not be recognized for it. But if you focus on becoming excellent at one valuable thing, you will automatically be seen, because when people need that thing, they will look for you, they will ask for you by name. You will not need to fight for recognition. So what is the micro action here? Choose one skill or one problem that few people can solve, but many people need help with. This is the sweet spot. If everyone can do it, there is no value in specializing in it. If no one needs it, there is no demand for your skill. But if few people can do it and many people need it, you have found something worth building. Look at your workplace or your industry. What problems do people complain about? What tasks do people avoid? What skills do people wish they had? These are opportunities. These are the gaps where you can position yourself. Do not try to be good at everything. Be excellent at one thing. This is how you make yourself irreplaceable. Here is the rap line. People who need you will find you. You do not need to chase recognition. You need to build something worth recognizing. Standard 3. You let results speak, not effort. The third standard addresses one of the most common reasons people stay invisible. Many people focus on effort instead of results. They talk about how hard they worked. They talk about how many hours they spent. They want people to know how much energy they put into their work. But here is the problem. Effort is personal. Results are public. The world does not measure you by how hard you tried. It measures you by what you created. This is not meant to be harsh. It is just the truth. When someone hires you, promotes you, or recognizes you, they are not thinking about your effort. They are not thinking about how late you stayed at the office. They are not thinking about how stressed you were. They are thinking about the value you brought. They are thinking about the problem you solved. They are thinking about the outcome you delivered. Here is the mechanism. Results are the universal language of respect. Everyone understands results. Results can be measured. Results can be compared. Results can be proven. If you say you worked 60 hours on a project, that is effort. But if you say you completed the project 2 weeks ahead of schedule, that is a result. The first statement tells people what you did. The second statement tells people what happened because of what you did. Effort is invisible. Two people can work the same number of hours, but if one person produces better results, that person will always be valued more. This is why focusing only on effort keeps you invisible. Other people cannot see your effort. They do not see you staying late at the office. They do not see you working through lunch. They do not see you thinking about work problems while you are at home. All of this effort is invisible to them. They can only see your results. If you focus only on effort, you will often feel unappreciated. You will feel frustrated because you know you are trying your best, but no one seems to care. And you are right. They do not care about your effort. They care about your results. This is not personal. This is just how value is measured. This does not mean effort is not important. Effort is very important. You cannot create good results without effort. But effort is the private part. Results are the public part. If you want to be seen, you need to focus on showing results. So here are some small actions you can start taking. Start keeping a record of your results. Write down the before and after. Write down the numbers. Write down the specific impact of everything you have done. Create a document where you track every project you complete and what outcome it created. Do not just say, "I worked hard on this project." Say, "I completed this project 2 weeks early, which saved the company $10,000. Do not just say, "I helped the team." Say, "I solved a technical problem that was blocking progress, and now the team can move forward." When you can show results like this, people cannot ignore you. Results are proof. Results are evidence. Results are the reason people get promoted, recognized, and remembered. When you go into a performance review or a job interview, do not talk about how hard you worked. Talk about what you achieved. Show the numbers. Show the impact. Show the difference you made. Remember this line: results are the common language of respect. If you want to be seen, show what you created, not just how hard you worked. Standard 4. You stop hiding behind humility. The fourth standard is about communication. Many people stay invisible because they hide behind humility. They think that being humble means never talking about their work. They think that if they are good enough, people will automatically notice. But this is not true. Humility is not the same as erasing yourself. If you never talk about what you do, people will not guess it for you. They will not imagine your contributions. They will not assume you did something important. Instead, they will simply think you were not involved. They will think you were just in the background. They will think someone else did the work. And this is how many talented people stay invisible for years. They do not speak up. They do not claim their work. They let others take credit without saying anything. They think this is being humble, but it is actually being invisible. There is a big difference between humility and hiding. Humility means you do not exaggerate your contributions. You do not take credit for things you did not do. Hiding means you do not speak up at all. You do not mention what you did. Humility is honest. Hiding is invisible. This is the way it works in real life. People only see what you make visible. If you do not say clearly what you are responsible for, others will fill in the gaps with their own assumptions. And their assumptions are almost always less generous than the truth. They will assume you did the easy parts. They will assume someone else did the important parts. This is not because they are mean. It is because they do not have the information. They cannot read your mind. They cannot see what you did behind the scenes. They can only work with the information you give them. Think about a team project. When the project is finished, people talk about it. They discuss who did what. They remember the people who spoke up in meetings. They remember the people who presented the final results. They remember the people who took credit for their parts. But they do not remember the people who stayed quiet. Those people become invisible, even if they did the most important work. Staying quiet and humble can keep you in a support role. You will never be seen as a leader. You will never be seen as someone who drives results. Even if you are doing the most important work, if you do not say so, people will not know. They will assume someone else was leading. They will assume someone else was making the key decisions. And when promotion time comes, they will promote the people who made their contributions visible, not the people who stayed quiet. This is a simple habit you can build. Practice saying this sentence. The part I was responsible for is. Use this sentence in meetings, in emails, and in conversations with your manager. When someone asks about a project, do not just say the project went well. Say what part you were responsible for. Make it clear what you did. Do not wait for someone to ask you. Tell them. This is not arrogance. This is clarity. Arrogance is when you exaggerate or take credit for things you did not do. Arrogance is when you make yourself sound more important than you are. Arrogance is when you put others down to make yourself look better. Clarity is when you simply state the truth. Clarity is when you say what you did without making it bigger or smaller than it was. Most humble people are actually too far in the other direction. They make their contributions sound smaller than they were. They give others credit even when they should take it themselves. To sum it up, people only see what you are willing to say. If you do not speak up, you will stay invisible. Standard 5. You keep building even when no one is watching. The fifth and final standard is about endurance. Many people lose hope and stop building during the invisible phase. They think that if no one is watching, there is no point in continuing. But this is exactly the wrong time to stop. The invisible phase is the most important phase. It is the phase where you build the foundation that will eventually make you impossible to ignore. Every person who is successful today went through a period where no one was paying attention. Authors write books that no one reads at first. Musicians play shows where only a few people attend. Athletes train every day, even when no one is watching. But they did not stop. They kept going, they kept building, and eventually they reached a point where their work became so strong that people could not help but notice. This is the pattern of every success story. There is always an invisible phase. There is always a time when no one cares. This phase can last for months or years. It tests your commitment. It tests your discipline. Most people quit during this phase. They give up when they see no results. And this is why most people never break through. Here is the mechanism. Value accumulates over time. Every day you spend building something, you add to it. Every skill you develop, every problem you solve, every small improvement you make, all of these things stack on top of each other. This is called compound growth. Small improvements that seem meaningless on their own become powerful when they are repeated over time. One day of practice does not make you skilled, but 1,000 days of practice make you excellent. But most people quit before the stack gets high enough. They stop right before the breakthrough. They give up during the invisible phase because they think nothing is happening. But everything is happening. It is just happening quietly. The work you do when no one is watching is the work that prepares you for when everyone is watching. The consequence of quitting during the invisible phase is that you will stay invisible forever. You will never reach the point where your work speaks for itself. You will always be starting over. Every time you quit and start something new, you reset your progress. But if you push through this phase, if you keep building even when no one is watching, you will move into a completely different stage. You will move from invisible to undeniable. This transition happens gradually. One day, someone mentions your name. A few weeks later, someone asks for your help. A few months later, people start coming to you with questions. Every single day, ask yourself this question: what did I build today? Do not ask if anyone noticed. Just ask what you built. Did you learn something new? Did you solve a problem? Did you improve a skill? If you can answer that question every day, you are moving forward. Keep a journal. Write down what you built each day. This helps you see your progress even when no one else sees it. The invisible phase is not the end. It is the preparation for everything that comes next. Keep building. If you feel invisible right now, remember this. You are not forgotten. You are not worthless. You are not failing. You are simply in a phase that most people do not understand. You are in the building phase, and this phase is temporary. It will not last forever. Do not spend your energy trying to be noticed. Instead, focus on building something that makes you necessary, because that is the most stable way to be seen. Use a simple framework to guide your work every day. Ask yourself these 3 questions. First, does this work help someone? Focus on work that solves real problems for real people. Second, does it solve a real problem? Busy work fills your time, but meaningful work creates real results. Third, if I do this work for 1 full year, who will I become? This question helps you think long-term. If you can answer these questions clearly, you are on the right path. If you cannot, then you need to adjust. But do not quit. Just adjust. Make small changes that point you in a better direction. Then keep building. When you think this way, you stop waiting for recognition and start creating real value. You are no longer someone who is waiting to be recognized. You are someone who is building something worth recognizing. You are not invisible, you are just getting started.